Hi, I'm Sergeant David with the Colorado National Guard. I'm accompanied today by Sergeant McCullough from the Vermont National Guard. Today we're going to talk to you a little bit about social media best practices. Now, Sergeant McCullough, we all know that social media is one of the biggest growing medias in the country. There's not an industry that's growing any faster. So it's important that every state are running their social media programs accordingly and within the guidelines of the National Guard's vision. So what are some of the best practices that Vermont has jumped on lately?
Yeah, so one of the things that I think is one of the top priorities for any state is conducting market research to make sure that you are relevant and that you're using the right social media platforms. So one of the things that we like to do in our office is we'll actually listen to podcasts that tell you, the analytics and what's actually trending out there, what kids are using. Because really at the end of the day, guessing is not a good answer.
Right.
So having those facts, I think that's pretty important.
So one of the things that's important as a marketing NCO is we do have to report numbers to our command. Battalion commanders, executive officers, they always want to know where we at with the state. So learning how to run analytics for each one of your platforms is something that we find important. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, it's important to know, are we trending up? Are we losing people? What are the specific posts that generate more followers or more engagement? Because we all know engagement's important. We want people to hit the like button. We want people to hit share so that now their thread is following what we're doing as well. So sometimes it's going to be hit or miss. I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes you're going to get something that you thought was great and it doesn't get that much engagement.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you might put 5 minutes into something and it just blows up. So knowing the analytics for what's going on with your posts, your videos, your content sharing, those are important as well.
Absolutely. How do you handle negativity on your social media platforms? Because I don't know about you, but we've had some crazy comments on our social media posts.
Right, and so in this day and age, what we've learned, everybody has a comment. If you've got a smartphone, you've got a comment. So one thing that's important for the marketing NCO and maybe a social media tech, if you have one, is to understand that there does need to be some type of free will when it comes to negative comments. There has to be some small rein that we do have to allow the public to speak. You don't want to be some state that every time there's something negative, it's delete, ban, delete, ban. You want people to be able to say, hey, I've got something to say and I want to say it. Now, don't get me wrong, if there's any type of vulgar comments, anything that's disrespectful to the military, to the presidency, to specific political organizations, or disrespectful to other people, then we do have to have a responsible reaction and ban and delete accordingly. But when you have generic negative comments, then what you want to do is tactfully respond to those comments. You want to have an engagement. They might be surprised that you're even talking back to them. But if we tactfully respond, if we educate and say something like, well, actually, we do have these specific incentives. We do perform this type of training. That might change their whole perspective. And now what have we done? We turned the negative situation into a positive.
Absolutely. And sometimes negative PR can be good PR.
Still PR.
It's all how you spin it. That's the beauty of marketing.
It is. And that's the great thing about starting this whole social media endeavor that the National Guard has jumped in.
Absolutely. And now, Sergeant David, I know that you also went through the Georgetown Training, and I think that's pretty important for incoming marketing NCOs to learn about. So can you talk about your experience with Georgetown?
Absolutely. What the National Guard has realized is that there has to be some type of formal training when it comes to social media because it is so new. It's not an MOS, it's not an actual position within a specific unit's TDA or UMR. So the National Guard thought the best way that we can all be universally aligned is to start sending both National Guard marketing NCOs and any future social media techs to the Georgetown University Social Media Training. Now this training is about a 3-month course where individuals can learn the baseline, because let's be honest, social media can be a degree in and of itself.
Absolutely.
So, but if you're coming on to the marketing position, the Georgetown Training is a good baseline where you do learn the basics of what platforms are, what our handles are, how to properly use the term netiquette which is professional etiquette on the web or the net. Learning how to find your analytics, learning how to report analytics, and the biggest thing that it wraps at the end is creating a social media plan for your state, which a lot of states haven't had before. We all work really hard on a marketing plan, but we do need to learn how to create a social media plan which supports the marketing plan, which at the end of the day supports your commander's intent. So it's a great program for someone who's just getting into it to get a good warm and fuzzy, if you will. So it is important for a new marketing NCO or social media tech to jump in that training just to get a nice overall basic concept of what we're expected as marketing NCOs diving into this new industry of social media.